so I used to carry 30 books. I used to carry 30 books a day. My book had my picture on the front. But like I said, back then I didn't know how to add color when I first did my book. So my book was black and white. It was black and white because I didn't know how to add color. But then when I learned how to add color, because you had a software called Cork Express. That's the only way you could do your book is if you had Cork. It wasn't, you had to put it on Word, and from Microsoft Word, you had to put it on Cork. And that's how you had to submit it to the book printer. And my book was black and white with my picture on the cover. I was standing on the roof, and a friend of mine named Emanuela, she took the picture of me. And it was black and white. And then when I learned how to add color, it was black and white with red letters, and it said corner stores in the middle of the block. And then when I learned how to add color, then I made my face was blue. My face was blue with red letters. And then, you know, things were doing real good. And I used to like, damn, maybe if I take my picture off the cover, white people will buy my book. You know, because I used to sell 30 books a day. Like I said, I used to get on the train early in the morning. I used to get on the D or the A, and I would rock from 125th Street to 59th, because the train goes express when it goes downtown. And when it's jam-packed, I'm kind of short. People can't see me, but they can hear me. And I'd be on the train rocking, you know, doing my poem, and people be like listening and shit, and they be laughing and understanding where I'm coming from, especially when I start talking about all the chicken restaurants you see in the hood. Because, you know, in the hood, they got a bunch of chicken restaurants. I made a video about that. I'll talk about that another time. You know, and about as soon as I get ready to get off the train, people be buying the book when they get to 59th Street. Or I would stop right before I get to 59th Street, about 2 or 3 minutes before I get to 59th. That way I could catch people before they get off the train. And people would give me $10. My book was $10 back then, $10 back then. And I would sell like 2 or 3 books, go back uptown to 125th Street, and come back down to 59th Street. And I would do that for about 4 or 5 times until I make about $100. I make about $100 doing that. And then I would stay on 59th Street and go into Starbucks and chill. And then after I leave the Starbucks, I would go to Brooklyn. I would go out to Coney Island, and I would do that back and forth on the D train. And then I'd be done. I would go sit in Starbucks on Atlantic Avenue, or because I lived in Brooklyn at one time, and I would go home and fish for the rest of the day. So I come outside 8:30 in the morning. I'd be finished by 2 o'clock. And I would go fishing all day in Prospect Park and take pictures and bass and shit. I would sell 30 books a day. Sometimes I sell 28. Sometimes I sell 25. Sometimes but I will push to sell 30. But I got on the train and rocked. And every time I got ready to get off the train, somebody, let me get a book. I sold 30 books that day. It was early in the morning, 30 books that day. I ran home and got 60 more books. I sold 98 books that day. I sold 98 books like in the course of like 4 or 5 hours. 98 books. I did that twice. And the biggest mistake I made is I took my picture off the book. And you know, because you're a dude in New York selling books, people are like, who are you? I don't know who that is. You just a guy with a bunch of books. And it was hard to sell them books. Damn, because I took my picture off the book and I put a corner store up there. Because I was like, man, maybe white people, maybe I could sell more books if I didn't put my picture up there. Why my book is not selling? And then I put my picture back on there and it started working again. But then I was like, damn, I can make a living doing this shit. So I said, man, as soon as my book come out, I'm quitting my job. My book came out and I quit.
He ain't lying.
I quit cutting hair and started selling my book. And I was going to 125th Street at first. But then I was like, man, I'm going to train and try to sell it. I wanted to train. That was Eureka. I used to $300, $300, $280. $250, I do that shit every day, 5 days a week, every day. And then I never used to be out there at night. I didn't want to sell book at night because I didn't want something to happen to somebody and I get blamed for it. And then, I'd be selling my book on the train. I got arrested for doing that shit.